Today, I'm going to piggyback off a topic I saw on another YouTuber's video. The video was by LovelyTi, who does pop culture and news, and she tries to be objective and truth-based and often throws in some conspiracy theories. She posted a video titled, "Pretty Privilege, Is It Real?" or "Is Pretty Privilege Real?" where she and some callers are discussing Saweetie's performance at Jingle Ball and Lori Harvey being a judge for the Miss USA pageant, I believe. I'll verify that. So, at the risk of seeming self-involved, self-absorbed, conceited, out of touch, any of those words, I am going to discuss pretty privilege as the person who experiences it. So I know how all this sounds, but I feel like I have a good perspective on it. I have reason to believe I am conventionally attractive, but I was not until adulthood. I didn't identify myself as attractive until adulthood, which means that I have been observant about my experience in both like not knowing I was attractive and knowing I'm attractive. I've been observant about what it means to be attractive, and therefore I feel like I have some good perspective on it. So I also thought it might be like kind of appropriate, or maybe it's inappropriate, to do my makeup at the same time as I talk about this. Someone commented to me about my makeup skills at the gym this morning about the last video I made doing makeup. So I thought I would try that. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna go ahead and put on my eyebrows, and then I'll be back to get into this discussion about the fact that pretty privilege is definitely real. But it's not as one note as it may seem. Okay. So I'm not any sort of an expert at makeup. I've kind of stopped following the trends, but I figured out what works for me. So in my video, I'm going to talk about LovelyTi's video and what sparked this whole conversation, and then I'm going to talk about my experience with pretty privilege and also the advantages that I've experienced plus the disadvantages. So to get started, let's talk about LovelyTi's video. It was entitled, please stop, Brooks, I'm trying to make a video. It was entitled Green Room, Spotify Green Room Show Episode 3, Is Pretty Privilege Real? How does it affect you? And they go on to discuss, Brooks, please stop. They go on to discuss Saweetie's performance at Jingle Ball and Lori Harvey being a judge for Miss America. Saweetie's performance was very underwhelming. I don't know how to put other people's videos in my YouTube videos yet. I just can't figure it out. So I can't show you, but it was just a lot of like, not much of anything, like no energy. Especially, you know, if it was Mariah Carey, like we get that, but you are at the beginning of your career. Why are you not giving us a performance? And a lot of people were dragging her for it. So LovelyTi was like, is her pretty privilege running out because people are apparently not giving her a pass anymore? And I do think that's what happens when you get to where you are, because you're pretty. Now, Lori Harvey was a judge, and people are like, what does she do? Why should she be a judge? We don't know that her opinion even matters. And I think that that's valid. As a matter of fact, I don't know anything about Lori Harvey. I've never heard her speak. All I know is that she dates high profile men, and I'm not mad at her, except why were you dating Future? So I get these arguments. I've listened to Saweetie's music. I mean, it's still entertainment, but I don't think there's a lot of talent there. So I get what everybody's saying, but do I like to look at these women? Yes. And I think that's worth something. That's something that we're not willing to admit. We all like nice things. We all like to look our best. Well, we don't all like that, but you know, most of us like to look our best. So in some ways we overvalue beauty, and then at the same time we're saying these people aren't bringing anything to the table, Kim Kardashian included. Even though their beauty is definitely giving us something, we are still enjoying them for their beauty. So I don't think beauty is nothing, but I also don't think that it's everything. So I think that being beautiful or having beauty around you increases intrigue around you. I've been to parties where there is no beauty, like no beautiful people, and it's kind of like, but it's not just about the fact there are no beautiful people, but it's like there is no variation, there's no variety. I think beauty is intrigue, as is class, style, intelligence, humor, life experiences, and worldliness. Like if you have any of those things, you add intrigue to whatever setting you're in. I'm not doing very good at, you know, getting my makeup done. So that said, I don't think that beauty, I think beauty is like the way that we value it the most, but I think in the same ways we value those things, we value beauty, or vice versa. Now, I'm gonna go on to my experience. I said that I didn't know I was attractive. I didn't grow up knowing I was attractive. I think I suspected I was attractive, but I didn't know that I could expect other people would think I was attractive until I was 22. So I'm in my second semester of my senior year of college. I was seeing someone, talking to someone, and the way he talked about me being attractive wasn't as much like it was his opinion as it was like, this is an objective opinion. You have the features that people universally would find attractive. And I mean, obviously my mom has always told me that I'm pretty, and like the secretary at my elementary school, but I, until that time, didn't know that there was like objective beauty. I also didn't grow up the pretty one. I mean, I guess I could have been, but I had friends that were pretty, and I was very okay being friends with the pretty person. Like, I was proud that they were pretty, but it didn't bother me that I wasn't the pretty person. I think obviously it's fun to be the pretty person, but I didn't have a complex about it at all. So then when I was 23, 22, and learned that I am conventionally attractive, or like universally found attractive, I began to observe how that affected my life versus 6 months prior when I didn't know that. So 6 months prior when I didn't know that, I didn't get very much attention. I also didn't know how to flirt. But it seemed like just knowing I was attractive had a huge impact on my life. And I think it's because the real benefit of being attractive or beautiful is that you can carry yourself with the confidence that might be harder to achieve without that, like the assurance that you have about how people are going to receive you. So I will start talking about the benefits of being attractive. I'm 33 now, so I've had 11 years of experience being attractive. And by that I mean I've had 11 years of walking around like I know that you think I'm attractive. And I don't say that to be conceited. I'm just saying it in like a matter of fact way. It's kind of like if I were 6'2", I would walk around knowing that you perceive that I'm tall. But we just place so much value on beauty that it's probably is uncomfortable for me to say this. Actually, my husband, who is also attractive, does not like for me to talk about being attractive or him being attractive. He never tells me about people hitting on him, even though I want to know. Because it's uncomfortable to him. He always says, well, some people don't find me attractive. I'm like, okay, but what's that, 5 people? It's like, I'm talking more about the experience in a like a global sense, and not just how it is for us two people, but it still makes him uncomfortable. So I can imagine this conversation might make you uncomfortable, but if you're here at this point, then you're in it. So I feel like the benefits or advantages is I get praise a lot. I mean, imagine you just go to the store and somebody's like, you're amazing, you accomplished all your goals, you have so much value in society. Now, I don't have that experience as much as I did before I had my son, but that is my experience. It's like I get a lot of positive feedback, verbal and nonverbal, but there was a time when I got a lot verbally, which I'll talk about later. I feel affirmed. I'm always getting people saying positive things about how I look or what I'm wearing, because people want to talk to attractive people, so people are inclined to tell me those things. And I also think that I'm pretty outgoing and I make it safe for people to communicate that to me. So yeah, I get a lot of affirmation, and it's easy for me to get what I need to feel good, right? So, you know, I can put on makeup and go out and get looks, and that makes me feel good. Whereas if I weren't attractive or if I didn't know how to do makeup, it would be harder for me to get those like serotonin boosts. I also get attention, which I need. I was talking to my therapist this week about like a myriad of things, and she was like, why do you need so much attention? And I was like, girl, because I didn't have a dad growing up. That's why I need attention, but I don't actually need attention. It's an illusion. But you know, that's kind of how that was a way for me to get some attention that I was looking for from 15 years ago, which is just whatever. I also have less anxiety socially because I know that how I look is one thing I don't have to worry about. I used to just be really worried all the time. I didn't know how people would take me. I should start by saying I had a lot of trouble socially growing up. It was very hard for me to make friends. I often was misunderstood, and so it's been nice to not have that anxiety and being worried about how people think about me, because I kind of can expect that they at least think I'm attractive, which is typically seen as a positive, so I at least have that. Now, I think also me being put together in general, and me like usually being dressed and like caring about how I'm dressed, caring about my makeup and stuff, and you know, my nails are always done. I think those types of things also help. And then also having like a good face and my body, like I think all that helps too. And I also, it just gives me confidence. It gives me confidence to look pretty, just like it gives me confidence to wear makeup or to wear a nice outfit or to have my hair done. Just like when I'm at the gym in the morning and I have no makeup on, no eyebrows on, to know that people still find me attractive gives me a level of confidence. But it also gives me a false sense of superiority. And I think I'm self-aware enough that this doesn't exactly affect me, but I think some people don't realize that they feel superior because they're attractive, but being attractive doesn't actually make you superior. That just means that people may hold you in high regard, but it's not real. Just like Saweetie having a record deal, but not any talent, that doesn't make her like a good artist. And I'm not trying to insult her. I really don't know her music that well, and I do think that she has bops. So it's not like she's trash. I also take offense when people say that Kim Kardashian is trash, because I think most people just resent a beautiful person like getting attention for apparently being beautiful. So it's not like that. It's just she's not like a I feel bad. I can't think of Cash Doll. I think she's talented, or Doja Cat's talented. she's not that, but she still has like the reputation of that. Anyway, it gives you a false sense of superiority. And you need to know that just because you're attractive doesn't make you better than other people, or somebody being ugly doesn't make them inferior in any way. They're just not as attractive as you. Whew. So being pretty is definitely a privilege. I think people start off with a positive impression of you rather than a neutral or even negative. They already are primed to like you. So that's an advantage. Can I say that I've received free stuff as a result? I mean, I won't be naive enough to say that I haven't. I do recall being given ice cream cone. People have given me free food, like young guys have given me free food and stuff at fast food. But I also had to change my own headlight when I was like 5 months pregnant. Definitely like visibly pregnant in the North Carolina summer. So I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if, sometimes it feels like being attractive supersedes racism. And then sometimes it feels like the racism supersedes the being attractive. So I don't get like the advantage I would normally get for being attractive because the person's racist, or I don't get treated racistly because I'm attractive. I have those thoughts. Anyway, so those are the benefits. And I've done like zero makeup. So I'm just gonna pause and just focus on my makeup for just, you know, just a little secky sec. I do want to say that I feel like the advantages I listed, people can also experience without being beautiful. I think the main benefit of being attractive is that you can, the confidence it gives you, which affects the way that you carry yourself. If you know that people are attracted to you, it's easier for you to attract people to you. And I know this because when I was pregnant, before I was even showing, I was like 9 weeks pregnant, I went down to Essence Festival. And you know, being pregnant was challenging for me because my identity as a single person was very different for me. I guess it was very attention based, and I knew that people were very sexually attracted to me, and I was okay with that because attention. But when I became pregnant, it was like, I can't be that person and be making a baby. Like, I can't be that person. I really didn't know how to feel about myself, and I had to go through a process of like grieving the loss of that identity and figuring out how to be. But just because I was self-conscious about being pregnant, even though I didn't look pregnant at all, I noticed I got no attention when I was in New Orleans. I didn't get any attention. And I think that's because I wasn't carrying myself in an attractive way. I still look the same as I did 10 weeks prior because I was 9 weeks pregnant, but I didn't get the same attention. I also have a friend who I just saw her yesterday, and she is a regular looking person, but I feel like her life is so much more fun. She's very attractive. She always has something interesting to say, and she's fun. Her friends are fun. And I think that's because, I think as it should be, being attractive is a bonus. It's not a requisite. So I don't think she perceives herself to be lacking. And she carries herself in a way that makes people want to be her friend. So I don't think you have to be attractive, but I think being attractive helps you carry yourself in an attractive way. I also think that, unfortunately, my self-worth has been linear with my perception of my own beauty or other people's perception of my beauty. And that has shown me that it's not exactly, like, my self-worth isn't exactly what I think it is. So this summer I went on vacation and I did not like how my hair was braided, and I was self-conscious about that. And I also didn't bring the right swimsuits because I don't be doing trips like that. So I didn't get any attention, which I know it sounds like shallow for me to say that, but when your experience is always getting attention, it's noticeable when you don't get attention. So I really recognize And I also, it wasn't exactly the attention, but it was the way I felt about myself, because I wasn't able to look what I felt was my best. I realized my self-worth and my self-esteem is not what I think it is, because if it were, it wouldn't be contingent upon how my hair is braided and how trendy my swimsuit looks. So I had a lot of work to do after that. That was an interesting trip for me. I have a video on here about when I accidentally got high on the trip, which highlighted all of these insecurities before I recognized I was high. But yeah, it's easy to think that you're good and you're solid, and it's easy to not realize your true weaknesses because you get so far based on your looks. Okay. So, disadvantages. I think that there are disadvantages to being attractive. I don't think when people talk about them, I'd be like, yeah, okay. Like you can't list the disadvantages over the advantages. It is an advantage to be attractive. It is a privilege to be attractive. Like, me being attractive makes my life a little bit more interesting and probably a little easier than if I were not attractive. Simple as that. But it does have its disadvantages. And I think had I been aware that I was attractive before ending college, I would have experienced less pain, because I think some of the ways people treated me then and treat me now are based on how I look for these reasons. So I feel like because I'm attractive, people tend to judge me. So that means, like, if I'm somewhere and I'm not being outgoing, people will say that I'm stuck up. I got that a lot, and I just really never understood it. I'm like, I'm afraid of you. Why do you think I'm stuck up? And but when there's an attractive person and they're not talking to you, it's like you notice them more because they're attractive, and then since they're not talking, you take it personally and internalize it and let it mean whatever it's going to mean. So as a result, I feel like I have to, which is another disadvantage, I feel like I have to be more conscious of others and how I make others feel. So I tend to be more outgoing. I tend to be more gracious and maybe even self-effacing to disarm people so that they feel more comfortable with me, which is extra work. Other people don't have to do that. They can just exist. But since eyes are on me and people have a lot of feelings about themselves because of me, I have to do a little bit extra to make sure that I'm not ruining my ability to make relationships. And in between those two things is the fact that I am the object of a lot of people's projections. That means that I make people feel, or attractive people make lesser attractive people feel a certain way about themselves, and a lot of times that gets applied to me, like being stuck up. That might just mean that they feel like they can't talk to me, or they're intimidated, or they feel self-conscious, but instead I'm the one that's stuck up. Or people not wanting to talk to me because they don't feel like they're good enough to talk to me. I have also people, because I'm always put together and wear makeup and stuff, they feel embarrassed because they're not like that. And so sometimes the way they talk to me is like they just come to me like like they are inferior, which makes me feel uncomfortable. Or it just is obvious that I don't make them feel comfortable, but it's like I haven't even done anything. It's just because I'm here. And actually I've been given the feedback not to be super done up in my videos, which is what I've been trying to do. Like, I want to look better, but I don't want to look my absolute best, because the people who tend to be attracted to me, that's not usually how they look, if that makes sense. So that can be hard. It also can be unclear why people are interested in me. I naturally have had a lot of men interested in me, and I have not been savvy enough to know always that they're only talking to me even casually because they're attracted to me. So it's like I'm not really interesting to them. They just want to be talking to an attractive person. And sometimes it makes me feel bad. Sometimes it makes me feel like I don't have actual value. I'm just attractive. Or it even can be a nuisance sometimes because people want to talk to me more. For instance, there's this gym that I go to sometimes. It's the same chain, but it's in a different location. And I had made a video before going to the gym. And so I had a little makeup on and people were paying so much more attention to me. And I was like, if you didn't want me with no eyebrows, like, do not talk to me. And of course, I'm married, so it's not a true statement, but it's annoying that people are so drawn. It's like, I just talk to me because you like me, or, you know, not just because I look pretty. So I've had those experiences where it feels like, where I know that they're only talking to me because I'm pretty. So, and lastly, I think a negative outcome of being attractive has been isolation. As I mentioned, sometimes people don't want to talk to me because of how I make them feel about themselves, or how they sum up who I am based on the fact that I'm attractive and I might not be outgoing. I, as a result, tend to be on my own because people are more comfortable talking to people who don't make them think or feel all those things. So I think that had I known I was attractive as a college student, I probably would not have been as direct. Of course, I didn't really know that I was direct, but I can see now how everything I did would make people feel like I'm being mean, because like, if you're attractive, you better not have the audacity to act like you're not blessed. But you know, I dealt with depression, and I dealt with not really knowing who I was. So not being, I wasn't always happy. But now that I'm aware that that doesn't matter, people are still going to judge you, I would have just tried to respond differently so that people would take me differently, or put more effort into showing people who I was. So yeah, people are always saying, I saw this one video like, people don't take me seriously, blah blah blah, and I mean, I'm also articulate, so maybe that I haven't had that experience because of that, but I just feel like that's kind of a cop-out. It's fun to be attractive. It just is. It's fun to be noticed. I guess some people don't want to be noticed, but you know, it's fun. Now, a couple other things I'll say. My husband's also attractive, and my son's attractive. So I don't always think about being attractive because they're attractive. Sometimes I'm like, I kind of am impressed by how attractive my husband is, but again, that makes me uncomfortable. But we're like, I don't just sit around like, oh my gosh, I'm so pretty. Like, I don't notice that because everyone in my environment is attractive. But my son gets a lot of attention. He's almost 4, and he gets a lot of attention all the time, everywhere. And my mom's friend was on the phone, and she was like, "Hi, Brooks, you're so handsome." And he goes, "I know it." And so it's kind of like, it's hard to escape it when people are constantly telling you. Whereas I don't have that experience anymore. I thought I was gonna say in here, but I think my peak prettiness was ages 26 to 28. That's when I kind of realized, okay, I'm attractive. I knew how to do my makeup. I got my body together. I was confident. And I got a lot of attention. Like going to the grocery store, every time I went to the grocery store, somebody would tell me that I was pretty, and that doesn't happen anymore. And I don't think it's because I'm less pretty, but I think it's because I'm not focused on that. So I'm not as outgoing and encouraging. I don't encourage people to talk to me as much as I used to, because I usually have a little one, or usually have a time crunch or time pressure, you know? So I'm not as interested in getting that type of attention. But I used to all the time, and it really gave me self-worth, because unlike some other pretty people, or pretty people who've grown up pretty, I think my husband grew up attractive, and that's why he kind of resents it. But unlike them, I didn't know how to feel about myself. So knowing that I'm attractive gave me at least one way to know how to feel about myself. So I really appreciated it, and I really liked having those experiences. And now my son has those experiences, and I really don't want him to identify too much with being attractive, because it doesn't make you better. People think that you're better than them, or that you should feel like you're better, but it doesn't make you better. You're attractive. And I think other people have advantages in other ways. Another thing I wanted to say is, I kind of have a suspicion that because my son is attractive, I think even at age 3, I think some children kind of resent that, because there have been a couple of instances with other little boys where they're just so hateful toward him for no reason. And I remember one of my friends was like, racism? Like, could it be racism? I mean, I guess it could, but he's also mixed race, so I don't know if at that age they realize he's a different race. He thinks he's the same race as his blonde-headed dad. So I don't know if that's it, but sometimes I think it's because he's attractive, and they know they're not attractive in that same way, so they resent that. But he's younger than they are, the ones that this has happened with, so I don't think he can perceive it at all. And they might not even understand it, and I might just be making stuff up, but sometimes I think it's because he's attractive that sometimes little boys have a lot of just meanness for him. So in summation, I enjoy being pretty because it makes me feel valued. I know that I can feel that value without being beautiful, but it is easy to feel it being attractive. But everybody has value, and everybody has advantages. You know what? I should like finish my makeup before I finish this statement. Okay. My son said he did not like my hair and it was not pretty, so sorry if you agree, but everybody has value and everybody has advantages. We just tend to weigh beauty more heavily, but I don't want people who don't find themselves conventionally beautiful or like exceptionally beautiful to feel inferior. I just think you should focus on what advantages you do have. And I also say that I feel like conceptualizing pretty privilege has also, or even me being athletic, has helped me conceptualize white privilege, which is like, for no reason, getting treatment above the baseline. Can you imagine if I told people that, which some people do, I guess, if I told people that life is easy and everybody should be confident and, you know, people can show you love easily without acknowledging that I'm attractive, that would be frustrating. And I think it's frustrating when people act like white privilege doesn't exist. But I also can't say every positive thing in my life is because I'm pretty. So anyway, those are my thoughts. If you disagree, please leave it in the comments. And this is my makeup look. I hope you guys do your best and look your best and look how you want to look and care about what you want to care about. Until next time.